Hey guys, Mass Bros 2 here with another quick review. It's been a while since I've made a video, but these just recently came out, the Nike Mercurial Vapor 8s. I know these are the original colorways, and they're not the new seaweed color or that white color, white and blue, but these were the original colorway, and to me these are still my favorite looking colorway. And I thought I'd just make a little quick review on it because they got rid of the Superfly line Nike, which was a lot of people's, that was their elite go-to shoe. Like, they went to that over the Addy Zero and stuff like that. But personally, I've never worn the Superfly, so I wouldn't know. But these are a really good shoe. They're really soft and everything. They're light, really light, and I have the SG Pro version, which has the metal and the firm ground stud, so I have double the weight on the shoe, and it's still the lightest shoe I've ever owned. It is incredibly light, this shoe. I got the SG Pro because I like the fact that you can wear it on firm ground or you can wear it on soft ground depending on what weather, because it's not like you know exactly what's going to happen when you're on the field. Like, you don't know if it's going to start raining or anything like that. And then if you have a firm ground shoe on and it starts absolutely pouring and it's muddy, the field, you're going to be slipping all over the place and you're going to have a hard time playing. And yeah, so I really like that they decided to make a pro version of a shoe, because you can see on all the pros when they get fouled or when they get up and stuff like that, you can see that they don't have the normal stud configuration that Nike releases to the public. It's usually not a firm ground shoe. It's usually not a soft ground shoe. It's usually both studs are on the shoe, and it's in a weird formation the way they have the studs, which I think that was the best thing they could have done, was released an SG Pro version of the shoe. But now they only release firm ground of the new colorways. The only colorway to ever get the SG Pro version was the launch colorway, which Ronaldo advertised Cristiano as the first SG Pro boot to ever be released, because no shoe that any company, Adidas, Nike, any other company that you wear ever released the pro version of a shoe. Which you can see that some guys, like even now, the Tiempos, the CTRs, those aren't available with the carbon fiber on the bottom, but you can see that the pros have the carbon fiber on the bottom, and they have a mix of the studs, which that's because they're professionals, they get to make their own shoe. But I think that was the best thing they could have ever did, was make this. The one thing I don't agree with the SG Pro version was that the firm ground studs in the back the metal studs are actually quite a distance lower, so that those studs are off the ground a lot, so that when you play on firm ground, it's like these are more of what you're getting your traction from. So it's like these aren't really being used as much, and I feel like that doesn't really help you, because this is not meant for firm ground. So it's like you're when you're running, even over here, it's like, well, the metal studs in the front are about the same length as the firm ground, so they're both going to the ground, but not over here and here. So it's like when you're running, you're tearing the ground up. You're kicking dirt up, you're kicking grass up, you're ripping everything out of the ground, because the metal studs are digging in so much, as if the firm ground ones wouldn't. They just go in and come right out. These go in and rip the ground out as you're running. So it's like when you wear these on firm ground, you feel like you're glued to the floor, which not necessarily is a great thing. I mean, yeah, you get great traction. I mean, I've never slipped in these shoes, and I've played about 4 games and about 15 practices. And I've played in rain and in the firm ground, and on sunny days I played on wet ground. I played on turf with these. These are not good for turf. Do not wear these on turf. You will break your ankle. These studs will not let you cut. You will grip so much that your ankles will twist. You'll mess your feet up. Don't wear these. And you'll mess up the studs too, because they'll break. But anyway, I mean, you'll never slip in these. I have never slipped in these. Even when it's wet out, I don't slip. I get really good when I'm taking a free kick or something, when I have to plant my foot very hard. They're good for that. On firm ground, it's like you're glued to the floor, but it's like when you cut really hard or when you need to take like a shot, it's like when you plant that foot or like when you're cutting and you're going left and you have to like dig in like that to make that cut, this will like dig in so much into the ground that it'll actually rip the ground out and the shoe will slide out from under you because it's ripping the ground out. It has no more ground to grip on. As in, if you wear like a firm ground shoe, like I have my Vapor 7s here, when you have these kind of studs and it goes in, because of that thin shape to it, it would enter the ground and come right back out of the ground very quickly. Which these, because of their round and they're very big, like they have a big surface area, they'll rip the ground right out. But overall, the traction on this shoe is really, really, really good. And I recommend, if you can find the new colorways in an SG Pro version, which you're probably not going to be able to, because they're only really released to the pros now, the SG Pros. They're not released to the public anymore. But I'm sure there's like certain sites that will get their hands on a couple. I recommend SG Pro. It's the best of both worlds. Like, you can't go wrong with them. It's like, these are an all-around cleat. You can wear these in the rain. You can wear them in the sun. You can wear them anywhere. You can wear them on grass, like really wet, muddy grass, which I wouldn't do because this like finish, they have like a suede finish on the shoe almost. Not the new ones. I felt the new ones, they're more like, they feel like synthetic leather, but these are like a suede kind of finish, so that like every little scuff will show on these shoes. Like every little time you kick the ball, like you can clean these as much as you want, which these shoes are extremely hard to clean. Like a wipe isn't going to cut it. Water's not going to cut it. Like shoe cleaner's not going to do anything. It's like these shoes are almost impossible to clean. It's like you see these little things. That's from like, that's not even from getting stepped on. That's not from hitting the ground. That's from taking a shot. Like if you take like a shot with your outside, or you pass with your outside, or take a shot on the inside, you get these little scuff marks that they'll stay there for, like, the only way I've found that works to clean these shoes is one of those Mr. Clean Magic erasers. But the problem with those is if you scrub too hard, you will take the color off the shoe. The shoe will turn, this synthetic color will just turn white, which you don't want to do. So you have to do that very, very carefully. And you have to clean the dirt off. Once you clean like all the mud off, you'll still see all the scuffs and everything, but you'll be able to clean it a lot easier. Anyway, back to what I was originally talking about. On to the next subject, the look of the shoe. They really, really changed the look of this shoe. Like if you look at the old Vapor and the new Vapor, I mean, this is the second, no. The Vapor 8 was the most recent. This is the Vapor 7. If you look at these two shoes, they look almost nothing alike. The stripe here is way, way longer. And, like, you can see how low the ankle support came down. They don't come quite as low on this, but the ankle support's a lot longer than it was on here. If you measure out this ankle support to this ankle support, it goes to this second lace hole. So it's like the toe box area is a lot longer on the Vapor 7s than the Vapor 8s. But personally, I did really agree with these studs. I wish they would have kept these studs. And I like this stud configuration, the double studs in the back, and then no studs in the middle. This stud, it doesn't really do anything, this stud. I mean, it's in the middle, and it's shorter than all of the rest of the studs. But I feel it just puts pressure, like, on your midfoot. It just gives a lot of unneeded pressure, and if you're not... It's almost like if you've ever worn a pair of Tiempos, which I have, and I hate Tiempos. I bought them thinking they were going to be comfortable, and that the leather was going to be nicer on them than synthetic, and I had never worn a leather shoe before. I always was with Vapor and synthetic, but now I bought Tiempos about a year ago, and I just hate them. The stud pressure is so painful on them. I've broken them in. I've had them for a year. I've been playing with them. And if you wear them to a game or a practice, the first 25 minutes of that practice or game, your feet are you're gonna want to take the shoes off and throw them out. They hurt so bad, the shoes. But then you get used to it, and they become really comfortable. But for that first half an hour, first warm-up, first couple runs in a game, your feet are going to hurt so bad. And it's going to be, there's no way to relieve it. I've tried different insoles. I've tried keeping the cleats a little bit loose when you play. And I just can't find a way to make them comfortable. So I got rid of my Tiempos and I went to Vapor 8s, which I'm very happy with. The touch on the ball is just amazing. It's almost like wearing a sock because like look how thin the shoe is. You could see my finger moving through the shoe. And if you look at the inside of the shoe right there, that's the inside. That's like what the outside is. It's a one-layer skin. It's not like this was like quad layer, which this is a lot. I mean, it's not really much heavier. And these are the SG versions, and they're still like a decent amount lighter than the Vapor 7s. But it's just, these feel fuller. These feel like more of a shoe. Like, if you get hit in these, you're not really going to feel it as much as if you get hit in these. If someone steps on your foot with, like, metal studs or with, like, longer studs that you would see on, like, a CTR or something like that, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot, too. Because this is so thin that it's like, this feels like paper. That's how thin it is. Like, if you push your finger there and then touch where your finger is, it's almost like you can feel like there's nothing in between your hands. But if you do that here, first of all, you can't even see my finger moving along the inside. And it's so much thicker. It's a lot thicker, and it's a lot like, it's very sturdy. It's like if I push in on this and I try to push that in, because of the way it's made, that toe box will not go in anymore. But these, if I push this in and go like that, the shoe will concave to exactly the way I want it to move. Which is also a very good thing. I like how soft these shoes are. I mean, look at these. You see that? This doesn't even close up like that. It doesn't bug out. It's like wherever you push on the shoe, that part moves. Nothing else on the shoe will move. If you push that on this, the whole shoe lifts up, and this like squeezes like that. It's very like stiff. But another thing is the insoles that they had on the Vapor 6s were comfortable. They didn't have holes in them. They were they were the standard issued insole, and now they got these in the new ones. They don't seem as well built. They like look like they were just cut out. They didn't look like they were molded or anything like that to the shoe. They look like they were just cutouts. I mean, they're light. They're like a decent amount. They're really not like, it's really almost the same weight. Maybe not even a gram. It's so close that it's like, I really think that these pads were a lot better. These slip in the shoe a little bit when you run, and like they're not like fully into the shoe. Like they're like, over here there's some room, over here there's some room, and it's like you can feel it when you run, that it slips. Like it can slip around sometimes, and I don't like the way that feels. But personally, the Vapor 6, my favorite soccer shoe ever made, and this colorway was my favorite colorway ever. I'm really upset that I didn't get a pair of these in Superfly. I really wish I would have. I mean, I don't really like to spend that much money on a soccer shoe because it's really not necessary. The difference between a $200 soccer shoe and a $400 soccer shoe is not going to change how you play. The reason I would like to get a Superfly version is just the fact that it's like, just this design is so nice that I think I should have gotten this in the Elite version than just the Vapor, because everyone has the Vapors now. So it's a very common thing. These are the highest model you can get, the SG Pros, and they're the same price as these Vapors were when they came out. And they don't even make an Elite version of these shoes anymore, which I don't agree with. I don't agree with it being $400 for an Elite shoe, but I do agree with having a different line, like the Vapor and then the Superfly, because there's people that would rather, that have the money for a Vapor or a Glide or a Victory, and then there's people that want that Elite cleat. They have the money, and that's what they enjoy in life, and that's what they want. They want that Elite shoe. It shouldn't be $400. It should be like maybe $300 or something like that, but I don't agree with it being, with them discontinuing an Elite line for like the professionals. But that doesn't matter. These are lighter than Superfly, so say what you want to say. They're really good, these shoes. Shots. I prefer shooting with the Vapor 6s because I feel like because it's not as thin, you get more of a power on your shot. And it's like the way that these shoes, because they mold to your feet, the laces go out a little bit, so you have less of a shooting surface area over here as you do over here. And the toe box is longer on these than it is on these. I don't know if you can really tell, but it's longer, the toe box, and it's better for shooting area. And when you shoot with these, it's like you feel the ball hitting your foot. Like it doesn't feel like you're hitting with like a cleat like you would be hitting with this. It feels like it's just hitting your foot, and you're not getting as much power on the shot as like you have to shoot a lot. Like you have to put a lot more force in with these to shoot as hard as you would with these. If you can see there, right there, like look how thin their ankle support is. It's not thick at all. It's one layer, which is really, really thin. And then on the old ones, you have like this thick Vapor 6, like quad layer skin, which it just was like, it's like padding. It's almost like I don't know if you can see in there because it's black, but it has like this area. It has like here, you can see it in here because it's different colors. In there they have the red. They have the red, and then they have the silver or gray, and in here it's shaped the same way, but in that red zone it's like thin to be light, and then up here it's very padded. It's very thick for your ankles and for people clip the back of your ankles when you're running. It's for comfort so you don't get blisters. They didn't do that in the Vapor 8. They got rid of that for weight. It's just the one layer around the whole shoe. There's no spots of padding, which makes it, when you get hit, it hurts like hell. It's like almost like wearing an Addy Zero now. It's like it's almost like there's nothing there. If you get stepped on, it's gonna hurt a lot. These, it was very padded, so it wouldn't hurt at all if you got stepped on. So yeah. That's pretty much it on the shoe, guys. If you wanna see some playing tests, like the video, subscribe. Anything I missed or didn't cover enough basis on, post it below in the comments. I give this shoe an 8 out of 10. It's not, these I give it a 10 out of 10, the Vapor 6s. These were my favorite shoes ever. These, personally, don't protect your feet at all. It's very dangerous how much, it's like, you can get stepped on in here, and then when you take your foot out, you will have like a cut where you got stepped on. And in these, that wouldn't happen. I feel that a shoe should not be sacrificing, like, it's like you'll get hurt just for that little like ounce of lightness. I don't feel that that's good. Another thing, the insole is very slippery. It moves around a lot. It's not very well built. It's not very comfortable. You feel the studs and stuff like that, but that's the easiest solution. Just take an insole from an old Vapor or something old in the same size, pop it in there. It'll feel so much better. Sure, it'll be a little bit heavier, but it's not like any weight you're gonna notice on your feet. But yeah. Another thing that I don't like about the shoe is that the SG studs in the back and then the midfoot are longer than the firm ground, because I think the SGs, they gave you like a lot of different sizes, but the smallest size on the shoe is still longer. It's 11 millimeters, which you can't put in the back. The 11s can only go here and here. This has to be 13 or 15 millimeters. That's what fits in there. And this is currently with the 15s, because I was playing on wet ground the other day. I had changed them. But I did put 13 millimeters on this shoe for the video, and it's still lower. It's not as much as this, but it's a lot lower, and you can feel that when you're on firm ground. You can feel that these are ripping the ground out and stuff. But overall, great shoe. Design's a little different than what you're used to. Almost looks like a Tiempo, but very good shoe. Probably the second best shoe that Nike's ever made, besides like in the Vapor line. I mean, the Vapor 7s and the Vapors and the Superfly 3s. Best shoes I think Nike's ever made. Not the nicest looking, but the best shoe that they've ever made. This colorway was the nicest looking I think that Nike ever made, but not the best shoe. And the Superfly was just, and this version was great, was the nicest shoe. But good shoes overall. I recommend them. They're not expensive. They're $200 now if you get them in the firm ground version. They drop down the price. They don't release the SG Pros to the public anymore. It was only in this colorway, which you can't get the SG Pros in that colorway anymore. And if you can find one, like if you can find a site or a supplier that gives you that SG, I would recommend it highly. It is a great shoe in the SG version. I mean, on firm ground, it gets a little annoying, the soft ground studs, but the great part of it is that you never have to change shoes. You can wear these in any weather you want, and you'll be totally fine. It's a great shoe. Yeah, and that's it. Mash Bros 2, see you later, guys. Subscribe, like.